Hello, I'm Sky, and welcome to the first episode of What Keeps Me Up at Night, a show dedicated to all the things that we think about when we're trying to sleep. I'm going to have a few of my friends come in, and we're going to do a couple of interviews, and we're going to talk about, something new every week. And this week we have...
Hey, how you doing? I'm Red. I've known Sky for about 8 years. We had ourselves a nice little relationship. I'd say he's one of my good buddies. And tonight, I guess my question is, what kept you up last night?
Well, today's episode is called Terminator's Paradox. It's actually based on a bunch of the Terminator paradoxes that people have all these theories on. Before we get into that, I want to do a quick recap. I don't know when the last time you actually saw the movie.
Long time, so a recap would be nice.
Yeah, me and the missus watched it recently, and it helped actually. Like I feel like I've seen it enough times to kind of get the idea. But basically, it's like a soon-to-be in the future sci-fi movie where the AI of this particular universe awakens, and it starts to discover that humans are just too evil, in a sense, to exist because they're just going to destroy anything anyway. So they start a war with man, and then the leader of the man was named John Connor.
Mm-hmm.
And to basically, the Terminator started to cheat, and they actually sent back a Terminator in time to get rid of him before he was even born.
So their cheat was just screw everything. We're not going to nuke you guys. We're just going to send somebody back in time.
Yeah, I don't. I guess they couldn't nuke again. Maybe there was out of nukes. That's an interesting.
Are
point.
you out of
why don't
nukes
you
though?
You're a machine. Just keep dropping
What
nukes.
would it matter to you? Radiation shouldn't matter.
Yeah, you're a robot. So that's a little weird. Yeah. So, but no. Instead, they decide to send a robot in the past to kind of attack his
Some
mother.
cheat that is.
Yeah, so then John Connor gets there like right after it, apparently. But with a time machine, I really don't think that even matters because you could just send him. You could send him like 10 minutes before the Terminator got there,
Like right there.
Yeah, like seriously, right there, and just like plow into him with like something. Like,
Nice semi.
send him a week before.
Boom! There it is. You just blew the entire mind of everybody.
But yeah, because how do you know? How do they know where they landed?
That is true. You don't necessarily know where they're gonna land.
Because they weren't even landed in the same spot. They landed like completely different spots of the areas of the city. Like Terminator was kneeling on the ground like a superhero and getting up.
Doing the Halo Reach armor lock pose and whatnot.
And then they drop Reese is his name, who comes back to save Sarah. They drop him from the sky. Like literally like 10 feet in the air, just drop him on the floor. And I'm like, why would they even do that? And I was like, oh, maybe it's because they didn't know how to use the machine properly.
But what if he would have fell and broke something in that 10-foot fall?
It looked like he should have. I did not. His face looked fine. He had scars, but they were like old scars.
But a
like
10-foot fall is still a 10-foot fall.
Yeah, but still.
Okay.
Alright, so basically, Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor spend the whole movie trying to survive.
All right.
Get away from Arnold Schwarzenegger, who he gets messed up a lot.
He was trying to terminate their ass.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, that's what he's designed for.
Gotcha.
Um,
so long as I just know the premise that someone was trying to get terminated.
Yeah. So I guess because of like, I don't know, like how like there's like they say if you're kidnapped, you love your kidnapper.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, this is like a form of that.
Someone called who the hell called Stockholm syndrome?
Yo, because she doesn't know who he is. At first, she thinks he's trying to kill her, and she's trying to get away from him. And then they realize it's the Terminator doing it. But now they're like trapped together, and they're always running together. And we find out that Reese like has a picture of her in his pocket, and he like takes it out and just looks at her like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Yeah, basically. and then,
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. So basically, they wind up hooking up, and, she gets pregnant.
High five for Reese. Yeah. All right.
And so now, what happens afterwards, now she is now pregnant with John Connor.
Okay.
But the only reason she named him John Connor was because the future man told her, "Your son's name is John Connor." She says in the movie, "It's like, well, at least I know what to name him." So like when you asked what kept me up at night, and I was saying like a Terminator paradox, it's not really a Terminator paradox. It's because I don't think any of them is true. That they're too complicated. It's like wouldn't the was it Occam Drazer says that the most simplest answer is usually
It's
the correct.
usually correct one, yeah, something like that.
Wouldn't it be simpler that some guy who started training when he was 12
Just became badass.
became a badass, sent back his best friend to save his mother. Now,
Are
that
you
is
saying his best friend screwed his mom and now his best friend's his dad?
yeah, basically.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
that
wait a
is
minute,
fucked up.
So basically, you have
Like,
John
hey bro,
Connor.
how you doing? I'm doing good. Just fucked your mom, by the way. Like, wow.
Well, no, he dies. Reese dies before he gets to come back. Like, he can't go back. There's no going back. So he's like, I don't care. Like, homie, what's the homie code if I'm never gonna see him again?
Oh wow, that is some bullshit. So he just pretty much said, "Hey bro, guess what? Gonna apply your mom. Hold that one. Catch you later."
Well, no. Well, I don't know. But
Kinda, sorta.
the one who sends Kyle Reese back, we'll call him
Right.
JC1, John Connor 1.
Okay.
So, to me, the simplest thing is that JC1 sent back Kyle Reese. Kyle Reese got his mother pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
His mother knew that he had a son named John Connor, and now named her son John Connor, who is now, I think, JC number 2.
Dun dun.
So basically, I feel like each movie is its own timeline.
Right, its own separate entity.
Yeah. So the first one was about JC1 sending back Kyle Reese to save his mom.
Okay.
Against the Terminator. Now, when that happened, I believe he made JC2. Now,
Which is Terminator 2 going into?
Yes, it's going to be going into Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Okay.
That JC2 is in 2, which works out perfect since, the numbers match up.
Right.
So JC2 is from Terminator 2.
Boom.
He's the spunky kid who doesn't take shit from anybody, who, like, sticks up for himself. He's very strong, self-assured. Like, he's not in the best situation.
Well, from what I remember from the movie, he could also be a little bit of a fucking prick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to put it that way, but, you know.
He grew up. Now, you got to remember, this JC didn't start fighting when he was 12.
True.
He's not training when he was 12. He's been training since birth. So, I think ultimately what happened was that the machines messed up. They made a even more badass John Connor
than the
original.
Oh, wow. They done fucked up.
He's been training for so much longer. He's going to be more jaded.
So their whole cheat just fucking backfired.
Basically, because there's nothing they can, now it's even worse. So, now this whole movie is this young kid, now with the help with the old Terminator.
Right.
Which is also part of my theory that there's no theory. It's like John Connor is the only character to get recasted mostly. It's usually there's a Terminator that's, the T1, it's going to be Schwarzenegger.
Obviously, that's classic.
Linda Hamilton usually plays Sarah Connor when the ages line up. Right. If it's young or whatever, it's like, it doesn't line up. It's not the right age range. But so what I'm saying is that's because, like, in the first one you get the older JC1. Part 2 you get the spunky kid. So after the spunky kid is he actually they delay the Judgment Day a little bit. And I believe that caused them to send back another Terminator in the past.
Leading up to numero tres?
I'm sorry?
Leading up to numero 3?
Into 3, yes.
Okay.
So now...
that was the one with the hot blonde chick.
Was she blonde? It was like an auburn...
She was blonde. I want to say she's blonde.
Was that... I think her name is like Summer Eve or Summer something.
Summer's Eve is a vaginal...
Yeah, but her name is like Summer something.
I don't know, but okay. Anyways.
So, it's so much worse that they have to now, and basically now they restarted it, and now comes in the third timeline, Terminator 3. And then that leads us to Terminator 3.
Dun, dun, dun.
The most pathetic John Connor ever.
Yeah, I swear, I saw this movie, and I'm not gonna lie to you. He was kind of a bitch.
Yeah, like he could steal steel and stuff, but it said
He
like he couldn't
was
survive.
he wasn't badass. He was
No,
nothing like the way you would thought Sarah Connor's son was gonna be.
like yeah,
You would have thought like his somebody as soon as they like step in his path, he's just like doing some like Trunks from DBZ shit on them and just like hold that, buddy.
that's a Dragon Ball Z reference, I think, right?
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. For those of you that know the animes in which they call it, in which the cool kids know it as.
Oh, I like to read my manga. I don't like to watch my anime.
Yeah, excuse me. But anyways, getting back to it. But yeah, honestly, yeah, for Terminator 3, me, I just when I saw it, I just felt like they dropped the ball with John Connor and who he was. Like when they showed him as a kid, like not as a kid, but like you know, in Terminator 2,
Yeah, he was
they
10 in Terminator 2.
right, but he was savvy.
Yeah.
He would see
But
a
see,
situation.
that's not fair. In 3, he was savvy too because he had to keep breaking in to get medication and stuff like that. But that leads me to me like that's a third timeline. That this John Connor isn't the badass. This is not the one that goes in fights. It's not the one that can stand up for himself. This is one that stays in the shadows, sneaks around, doesn't fight through anything. He's like, I'm running away from all the conflict. And I think that's because...
So he'd sneak around the conflict, then take it on directly. As in
Yeah.
The second movie, he would just get the shotgun, Merkel.
Well, no, that's the Terminator, the other one. But like, yeah, that he was funky. He did, he did have this like strength about him. Like, yeah, I know this is messed up, but we're gonna get through it. I got this machine. And the third one, he just was like, it just maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but he just seemed to complain a lot. That's what my
Everything
thing
was the problem.
Yeah, and then
Why are they shooting at us? Why do you think?
Yeah, and then you get this woman, his love interest of the movie. They can't stand each other the whole movie,
and then they just fall in love.
It's like an Adam Sandler movie. It
Yes.
just happened. There was no build up. There was nothing cute about each other.
God.
Why does Adam Sandler always get the? Because it's Adam Sandler, but he always gets the hot shit.
Yo, does he ever?
Like everyone, and it's always somebody. No offense, Adam Sandler. I love you. You're a decent looking fella.
Salma Hayek is way out of your league, bro. I'm sorry. Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. She was way out of your league. Kevin James is along with that list. It just is what it is.
Well, let's not shit on celebrities. That's not what we're about.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. Anyways,
so,
love you guys.
So there's no reason for me anyway for them to get together, but at the end they're like in love with each other. And after this, it was like a lot of. It's weird. They started doing timelines, and like Reese would see other memories from another dimension. And it basically looks like that the movie didn't realize it was doing this, but now it's starting to add its own different timelines, which I think is I think basically it was just bad writing. It's hard to keep time together like that.
So did I. And to be honest with you, okay, like with the Terminator 3 thing, it just, I don't know. I felt like they were fizzling out, and then I don't know. To me, I don't know. I just felt like they botched the character so bad at this point.
Yeah, it was even like a weak ending.
They could, what could they really do at that point?
Just bunker down and like live there for fucking 40
and to
years.
be honest with you, I feel like what they did afterwards was even worse. If I'm being honest.
Oh, like the next few movies and TV shows. And
oh man, did they kick?
I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but if you notice too, it supports my theory that most of the characters that are is John Connor. Because you still see Linda Hamilton in some of those.
Yeah, even in the newest one. Yeah.
So why is everybody the same but John Connor? That's because every time they send back a Terminator, they just make a new timeline. That past timeline is still messed up.
But people are going to be, oh, just new actor, whatnot. We're not talking about all that.
Yeah, we know the real reason. Behind the fact that why they did it.
We're talking about, like, lore reasons here.
Like that's what, you think at night, like, well, how did he do that?
Impossible.
How is it possible like that? And it's like, it bothered me sometimes too. I'm thinking like Like,
you're laying next to the missus, and she's like, he's thinking about another woman. How the hell did John Connor make it back?
and then what you got too is you ever see that Family Guy where Stewie sends himself back to the Big Bang and he starts the Big Bang, creating the universe.
Yes.
Well, how could he create the universe first time? It was like the universe was created to create Stewie
twice.
So I think a lot of those theories based on that. That's like, oh, well, the universe was just set up for this to happen, and it's in its own little bubble that maybe was a straight line, but like that time bubble just intercepted way too early, and it just kept it like it was the original timeline. And because I guess in a way you could say that if in the first timeline it happens to you, that's the first timeline.
Because it already happened.
It's the first time it happened to you. So it's your first timeline.
Right, because it already happened.
Yeah, so it comes back to you, so it's like, it's all good.
Right, right.
The last couple of movies and shows is like, it gets very convoluted.
Salvation? Bleh.
And they go
come on. You even gave me the look when I said salvation.
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones like the Dark, what is it called? I don't remember. It's Dark something.
Yeah, it was just, ugh.
But so that's what kept me up at night for this. It definitely was like, you know what the real reason I stay up late at night with this?
What was that?
I worry the makers of this movie will figure this out too, and just keep making new timelines.
Let's hope they don't, so they can just stop. Like, cut the Thanos, snap this shit out of here. Just get it out.
And some of my favorite movies are time-based. I love Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, Back to the Future is a classic.
And they had trouble keeping up with, that's why they didn't, that's why Rick and Morty doesn't do time. They don't want to even deal with all that.
You know what kills me about Back to the Future?
What?
I forgot which one it was, but 2019.
2019.
Flying cars. Where do they go?
Oh, that's part 2. Where
do they go? 2019 came
and the hoverboards.
Yeah. No hoverboards.
Well, no one promised those. People are like, oh, we were promised. No, a movie said that maybe it could happen.
True. A movie
they could see a universe where it happens.
Right.
And they did. It was the universe they created.
I mean, I could see a universe of Terminators, being stupid enough and not using fucking the ultimate weapon to honestly keep humanity at bay.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back up again, because that makes no sense to me. Why? I know they kept some humans alive for labor, but why do you even need some humans for labor?
You have robots.
Just build yourself a mini person like robot. Like, you just put skin on it. He can't do the labor that people do.
You. Even then, what do you really need human labor for?
Plot.
Thank you. Exactly. You just proved my point. Because look, think about it this way. Okay. Going back to it, when they first devised, I don't know what genius machine. This is how I can tell machines are stupid. What genius machine said, "Well, we have these nukes."
Yeah, and in '97 we used them. We have the codes. They don't even know the humans don't even know who started the war.
They don't know who started the war.
They just see, the balloons.
They just see
the nukes.
China, I see your balloons.
Oh my god. Honestly, I cannot wait for my next podcast, because I'm gonna be going into UFO stuff.
All right. So, anyways, again, getting back to it, the machines calculate. They see these nukes, this massive stockpile of nuclear warheads, and say, while the number says 99.9%, hell, 100% gone, it looks to the left and says, but time travel.
Yeah, and then even like in the first movie, the spacing was so weird. Me and the missus just watched it, and Kyle gets dropped off in the middle of where he gets literally dropped like 5-10 feet in the air.
Right.
And he
doesn't
gets
break
up.
an ankle.
Yeah, he gets up. It's nighttime. He runs into a building. He gets clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time we see him, it's now daylight, and he's now stealing a car. Like, it's almost like nighttime, and now he's stealing a car. Like, even if say it's in the morning, like, why are you waiting all night? Why are you waiting to broad daylight to steal a car?
Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, if I was a criminal, if I was gonna be a criminal, I wouldn't wait to broad daylight to do something where somebody can say, "Hey, the man with red eyes right there." I'm not gonna do that. That sounds pretty stupid.
Yeah, so why did you wait so long to steal that car?
I don't know.
And then a whole another day goes. Now it's nighttime, and now he goes to the phone book, and now he's at Sarah Connor's house. It's like it's been
The
at least we know
Terminator
it could have
already
been 2
beat
days.
you there.
Yeah, it's already been at least a day or 2 nights,
Right.
and Sarah Connor's elsewhere in the city are getting killed, and you don't even know where any of them are. You have the same amount of information the Terminator does. You just gotta hope that they didn't get killed at the end.
My thing is this: when Terminator first shows up, right, to kill,
They show a
Sarah
lot of
Connor.
booty. They show a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger's booty.
Oh, so
I
he's
don't- I
just
didn't
completely
remember that.
butt ass.
Yeah, like I'm sure if
Oh.
you could see his dangle, it would have dangled.
Okay, you know
But-
what? So at least see, because I was gonna say, you know,
Yeah, because
he
you
might-
can't have clothing come through, weapons, anything that's non-organic. It has to be organic.
Right, I understand that, but here's what I was gonna go off and say. I was gonna go off and say, well, you know, if maybe the Terminator went through the trouble that Reese went through and went to find some clothes and all that other stuff, Reese might have some time to catch up to him. But since the Terminator was efficient, it said, man, fuck it. Sun's out, guns out. We gonna do this. He got there much more quicker. Reese, it didn't matter about the clothes, buddy. You were gonna bang her anyways. You clearly went back to
But he
that
did it.
line.
He did it while wearing homeless man pants. He stole a homeless man's pants. Like when Reese got dropped, he was naked.
That's worse.
Also, and so he was getting the cops pulled up. So he grabbed the old man's pair of pants and ran. The homeless man is like, "Oh, he stole my pants," and then he gets like a trench coat, and then a shotgun, which he saws off. But the smell that must be coming off these pants.
Exactly. Like, look, I don't know how many listeners are from the New York City area, but Jesus Christ, if you've been in New York City subway,
This is based in L.A. too, so but I'm sure they have their
oh
own.
my God, I'm sure LA has a terrible homeless
'Cause
problem too.
They do. They Skid Row. It's a whole area just dedicated to homeless people, and the heat there too makes like the smell even worse. You know what's funny? You know why I just found out smells? Paris. Like you would think Paris would be like perfumey. It's the perfume capital, but they're like kind of lenient on their urination laws, so people just be peeing everywhere.
I couldn't do that.
I don't. That's what keeps me up at night too. These poor people just peeing everywhere in the street.
That keeps me up at night too. No. You know what
It's
keeps
like
me
there's
up-
that one block. Okay, you know in Harlem, there's a few blocks in Harlem that smell either like blood or like piss.
There's
and-
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There's
But
a
like,
lot
imagine
of them.
a whole city. Imagine being able to go to
I
the
couldn't.
nice part of the city, and
And
you're
you
sitting there
still
having a
smell it.
fancy dinner
And someone just whips
outside,
out their dick and starts pissing.
and then just the wafting of the aromas.
I can't do that. That's disgusting.
I don't know why people do it.
That's why people visit France. You know, I know the Terminators ain't visiting France because their smell receptors are gonna take up all that piss.
Do they have smell receptors?
Do they have smell
Wow,
receptors?
look at this. I like these conversations like this because questions like this pop up.
That's just popped up out of nowhere.
Does
But,
he have? I don't see anything in his visual context but I
he's
mean-
never smelled anything. You've never seen anybody go up to him to try to give him something to smell. You've seen them.
Yeah.
You've never even seen him try to give him something to taste. So you don't even know if he has taste receptors. He could, for all well and purpose, taste and smell like a regular human. we could not know this, people. We could try. We could try to know, though. Let's try to know.
I think that's a good part to end this part of the podcast.
Dun dun.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any real proof that the John Connor is different, but it kind of makes the most sense. Because
I mean,
what's the other one we thought about? Like the universe created this so it would happen, so it can create itself, type of events. But and I'm sure there's more. Like I've looked into this. It's just so confusing. I don't really want to like decipher because
I'm sure it's got a lot of bullshit to it. You know, it gotta have a lot
fringe
of bullshit.
science. Although
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to take a second and thank Red for stopping by and talking with me this week. It's been a lot of fun this week talking about everything. I'm really into a lot of different things, and it's not just movies or UFO stuff and stuff like that. Just like anything that we think about, like that's crazy and weird, and it's fun to have a conversation with friends. And I think that's what ultimately I want this to be is a conversation between friends. I think we all relate to that. We sit down, we have a couple of drinks, we go out to eat, we talk about movies, we talk about ghosts, lights in the sky, religion, where you're from, cultures. And I think that's important stuff to talk about. And it might be, some of it may not be as serious as others or more lighthearted, but it's definitely fun to have these conversations, and we should never stop asking, what if? So please join me next week as we go through UFOs and everything that's going on. And I had this idea before, the whole balloons with China, but it's also very strange that we called the search off 4 days ago, and that seems like a little odd to me. So hopefully maybe in this coming week or so we can get a little bit more details about this. Maybe some civilian will find it, or maybe they found it, they just don't want us to know. But that's the fun of this. So see you next week.